what's up? This is the first YouTube video. Not gonna lie, kind of nervous. Haven't done a YouTube video by myself because if you do know me, I have a podcast with my friends Jayon and Jake, and I've done like the podcast for a bit, and it's cool with other people and being behind camera, but this is weird. But recently, I put out my blog, installment number 6, What is the Meaning of Life? And that was a very interesting. Like, so far, that's my favorite blog post that I've done. I like to call them installments. And because it touched on a question that, like, hits you super quietly, taps you on your shoulder, asks you to pause, and the first thought is like something so grand, like, oh, I want to live life to the fullest. I want to be rich. I want to give my kids the perfect life that I can give them. But how do you do that? How do you live life? What does living life mean? What does it look like? Is it something that you master? Those are all questions that filled my head. And now I'm like, it's gonna take longer for me to understand that, because that installment was supposed to come out in December. It didn't come out until Friday, because by the time you're seeing this, it's Sunday. And if you're watching this in the future, welcome. So the new year came around and I started thinking, okay, how will I answer this question? I mean, when the new year comes around, we're all focused on New Year's resolutions, being the better person, going to the gym, eating healthy, finally getting out of bed and doing that one thing that you said you were going to do 5 years ago. As we all know, the statistics of it, I believe it's like 89% of people don't actually follow through. So what is the meaning of life? Like, each year, we each go through this weird revelation of ideas and notions and who we want to be in comparison to somebody else who's in the spot that we want to be in. And suddenly it's like, what is the meaning of life? And so I picked up this book, Atomic Habits, and I mean, it broke down it dismantled the idea of goals, saying that goals are basically trash and they put you in a false reality, saying you're going to do something and that something is based off motivation and you having the motivation to do it. And then once you do it, you kind of go back to the state that you were in before, which is like laziness or the want to do something, but you're waiting for that motivation. Like, it's a cycle. And so I'm like, okay, now I don't want to say goals or like I have a goal to do something anymore. So what do I want to do? And so I started breaking down who you are as a person through habits, through the little subconscious reactions that you have from triggers, and how each good habit is exponential and each bad habit is basically hell. Like, we've been setting goals for years. In school, we're told to set goals. I mean, goals have been looked at as like an amazing thing, but it's like, now suddenly we shouldn't be doing goals. So like, I took a time to really think about this and to really like put it into practice. And so I started believing that I'm the person that I want to become. I started interacting with people as the person that I am and I am becoming. And while I was reading that book and putting myself together through better habits and like verbal manifestation, I was also reading another book called Surrounded by Idiots. And it breaks down people's category, like their personalities into categories, like a red, blue, green, and yellow. And so that focused more on like empathy and human interaction against conflict. And I'm like, okay, how do I put that into practice? Like, it kind of gave the idea of like, oh, I want to be a CIA officer and know when somebody's like lying or know somebody's archetype as soon as I start talking to them. But when I started breaking it down, I started getting into the nitty gritty of how different people interact, why certain people interact a certain way, And you know, the nuance behind that. So I believe I became a more empathetic person, and eventually I started putting the pieces together to the central infamous question that we all ask ourselves at some point in our lives. What is the meaning of life? And it became something where it doesn't have to be grand. It doesn't have to be explosive. It doesn't have to be something that you do in the moment, but it's a realization. It's an enlightenment. It's a sitting under the tree, meditating in the summer type of vibe that you get. And then you realize the meaning of life isn't to answer that question, but to feel worthy that you can say you live life by the end. You know what I mean? Like, did I cook with that? Like, the meaning of life isn't something that you have to define. It's something that's constantly redefined as you grow, because that question grows with you. It changes with you. I mean, we all change from one point in time to the next. We all become a different person. We each like something new. Each year we want to do something new. Each year we want to accomplish something new. So the question and that idea of who I am, who you are, what you want to do, it's not something worth looking at so tightly. It's not something where you have to feel pressured to do anything, because it's on your time. Yeah, like, you'll figure it out. And that's really like, that's what's been in my head. That's what's been itching, scratching like a crackhead at just like the frontal lobe of my brain for the longest, because I'm like, what does that look like? And ever since I posed that question, certain things has been aligned to give me little answers. And that's what I think now. I may revisit this in the future and I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? Nevertheless, the fact that I can realize it shows growth, shows an understanding. And I think that's what it is, like, to constantly try to understand what's different, what's new, what makes you, you know? So that's what I feel the meaning of life is. That's what I think everybody should hear. And yeah, think about it. Don't think too hard, because it'll hit you while you're on the train, while you're sleeping, while you're eating your Pringles or your popcorn or them Takis that be burning holes in people's stomach. Bye.